Hello, headset fans. I'm the PC Expert Amateur, and we're going to take a look at the Soundpeats Pop Clip wireless over the ear hole earbuds. I do have to show you something about this box that makes it a little bit interesting, because some of them are firmer than others, not as far as like how well fitting they are. Like the first pair that I got is like you'd be like, a little bit hard, but if you're looking for the manual, it's hiding right there. There's a tab on the side here. You just grab that tab and pull so you can get the manual out, which is in an envelope. And then if you're looking for the cable, you'll need to get this to, I wish they would have put a little thing to hold on to. And it's under the side that has the symbol there. And this is what it looks like. Just another USB-A to USB-C to add to your collection. So you now have 1 million of them like I do. Anyways, the case is fairly simple, like this. And there's the charging port. And inside it's got a gray interior. Pull these things out. The light will blink. Oh, it's already connected to the phone. It loves to just turn on the music without my permission. It's not the headset. Oops. You do have to be careful. This one is not a touch. This one is actually using a button. There's one on the top of each of the headsets. But there's no indicator about which is left or right. So you'll have to pay attention so you can figure that one out. I've got music playing in my ears now. And right. Oh my God, this is too distracting. I just want to show you what it looks like. Now, one thing that's important about this is with these over-the-ear ones like this, where you look at it and you're like, oh, I'm supposed to push that up against my ear canal hole. No, you're not supposed to do that. So the point of this one is you. Here, I'll show you what I mean while I'm explaining. When you're putting it on, you're going to put it on in a position where it's aiming at the hole, but it's not in or touching the hole of the canal. So you can put it up as high as you need to put it, where it may be more comfortable, and it's going to bounce around just like sound normally does. It's going to bounce around inside of the canals of your outer ear. So if you put it all the way down to the bottom, you'll be able to block out all sound in the area, pretty much, unless it's really quiet music or something like that. But if you move it further away, you're protecting it from coming into contact with your cerumen, which is earwax. And you're also making sure that you can hear environmental noises in case that's important. Like if you are, for example, in a warehouse, you do not want to have this blocking your ear hole so that you can't hear what's going on. You could get killed or at least hurt. And that's not good. So let's take this off. Don't forget about the buttons on the top. You'll need those to do things. Now, on to the specifics. And, it is a slippery case. So if your fingers are kind of dry or whatever, it's probably going to try to slip out of your hands and escape, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is, right? And then, so obviously wireless over the ear, and it uses Bluetooth 5.4. Now, I did mention this is my second set. I had my son using the first set, and here's the thing. He used it for, I think, 2 months, and then partway through the 2 months, one of them, the ball started to disconnect from the cable going to the battery compartment, because what's behind your ear is the battery, and the ball is where the speaker is. So it disconnected a bit, and that caused the speaker to recede somewhat away from the holes, and it also did damage. And so over time, what was happening was, number one, his ears produce a ton of wax. I mean, I'm not kidding. He has to clean them every week. And even I would say he probably should clean it more than every week because it's gross. I mean, the amount that is being produced, and it's he inherited it from his mom. His sister has the same problem, but that's neither here nor there. The important thing for you to know is that. So, anyways, I digress. That's not important. What is important is that aside from that damage, other things started to go wrong. The case started to hold less charge. The batteries started to hold less charge. I'm not sure how much of that was due to that little bit of damage, but from looking at it, it's clear to me that they didn't use enough sealant or whatever to keep the cable from separating from the ball. And he claims that when he was removing them, he was always just pulling them off of his ears. Now, these things latch onto your ears, and they can pinch your cartilage a bit, which can be a little bit unpleasant. So try to find a spot where it's aimed at your ear hole but comfortable. But the point is that after just a couple of months, the batteries were at half of their previous capacity, and the one had gotten damaged, and overall the results when I tested them were not good. They were still functional, still decent sound and everything like that, but overall it was pretty poor. So they're kind of delicate, I guess, is what I'm trying to say here. So just be careful, and you might want to try to figure out a way, like maybe when you're pulling the ring off, you can kind of wedge your fingers in there and make them separate the two sides, or I don't know, use two hands or something. I just don't know what else to tell you. I just wanted you to be aware that these are not heavy duty or even medium duty. They're light duty. He was wearing them like almost all day. He would take one. And that's another thing that's important to know. He generally would only wear one in his ear, especially when he was at school. He would only have one in his ear so he could listen to music. And then when that one got worn out, he would swap to the other one. So it's not like he was constantly using them both at the same time. Right. So let's get to the part where I talk about the specifications, so you can go to sleep until I get to the part where I'm talking about the test results. Okay? Is that fair? I sure hope so, because I don't know what else to do. All right, so the like I said, 5.4 Bluetooth, and there are the buttons, and let's see, USB-A to C cable, LiPo batteries, 10.8 millimeter drivers. You can do music and gaming. You can also do phone. And it has an IP rating of X5, which means it doesn't protect against dust, but it does protect. It's water resistant, I guess would be close. It's close to waterproof, but not fully waterproof. And then it's suitable for exercises because of that, and also because it's difficult for it to be dislodged from your ear. It has noise canceling, which they describe as AI call and environmental noise cancellation. Additionally, it has a voice assistant, and the frequency response range is 20 to 20,000 hertz. Playtime's 8 hours, 45 milliamp hour capacity, which is pretty low, not the lowest that I've seen in my list. I've got some that are 25, 30, 40, so it's pretty darn low. And then the signal range is 20 meters. That's 66 feet. That doesn't mean strength. That's just the range. So the extra playtime you can get from the case is approximately 22 hours. So you're going to use it, you plug it in, that gives you another 8 hours, and then you plug it in, and 8 hours. So, you can get almost 3 full charges after the initial charge with it plugged in, I guess, would be the right way to explain it. The capacity is 400 milliamp hours, 1.8 hours to charge the case, and it has 16 ohms of impedance. It is compliant with CE, FCC, UKCA, RCM, KCC, and one Asian one that I've not been able to figure out what it means. It has a 1-year guarantee or warranty, which is how I was able to get a replacement set. And they got it to me really quickly. They said, "Oh, it'll be there by Sunday," and it was like, I think it took 2 days to get to me. Now, as far as the testing is concerned, for fidelity, I used Hi Hacker's Ultimate Headphone Test. I would like to find a better test than that one, but it does definitely serve the purpose that I needed for right now, except for I'm a little bit dubious about the treble. But the bass test is 200 until 10 hertz, and at the very end, for the last 30 hertz or so, I turned it up to full volume, and it did the full range. The treble test is 8,000 to 20,000 hertz, and I use 60% volume for anything I don't say full volume. So most of the bass test was at 60%. And that was only from 8,000 to 14,900. After that, I couldn't hear anything. And that's one of the worst. There were 3 others that scored that poorly. Then the third test was the driver bass quality, which is full volume. And it's basically you listen to the low range, and you're listening for like buzzes, distortions, clicks, anything like that, and it passed, which is, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 others that passed out of the the 18 that I've done. And then the driver balance is the 4th test, and that test is basically the driver should be situated such that when you listen to the tone go from the very bottom all the way to the top and then back down, it's a little bit painful to the ears, to be quite honest, at 60%. But too late. I've already done so many of them at 60%. Anyways, it passes the test, which is only one of I'm sorry, I didn't finish explaining. The point is that the entire time you're listening to it, it should sound like it's in the middle of your head. Okay? So, out of all 18 headsets, there are only 3 others that passed that test. That's a hard test. And then I did 3 for directional sound. The first one was Lion Studio's high definition 3D test, and it failed that one. Wait. No. It did not fail that one. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the when it was damaged. The damaged set failed. The damaged set failed a lot of tests. This one passed. The second one, Dolby Presents Universe, pass. THX Spatial, Hear the Difference, pass. Then I did the wireless signal range and strength tests. For the wireless signal range test, what I do is I take my phone, I leave it here with the case, and then I walk to the other end of my apartment, which is about 40 feet, and check and see if there's any distortion or loss of signal or any garbling or whatever. And it passed that test all the way to there. And I did it again with the case in my hand instead of by my phone, which is still over here. So I walked all the way over there, still managed to get all the way to the other side of the room, or apartment, I mean. And that is, obviously that's great, but I only had 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, none of them failed when the case was over here by the phone. And of the ones that did fail when the case was in my hand, there were 4 of them. Then for the second test, what I do is I deliberately walk around my apartment to parts of the apartment where there are barriers between me and that. The first part of the signal range test is a line of sight test. The signal strength test is a barriers test. So I first go into the kitchen, which is about 15 feet away, and there are 2 walls and a water heater and a refrigerator and an HVAC in the way and a range. And then I go to, it passed that test, and it couldn't pass the rest of them. So there are 4 stages total and only completed 1. And 1, 2, 3, 4, there are 4 others that also only passed that one. And there are 3 that got to the second, completed the second stage. Now, that's with the case and phone here. Now, with the case in my hand and the phone here, I still was only able to get to the kitchen. And to be honest, that test is harder to succeed at for these devices because the cases want to be next to the phone. Now, some of my devices don't have cases, so for those, they only got this part of the test, with the case in hand for both the line of sight and the barriers tests. And this one, along with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 others, was not able to do any better. But then again, it did do better on the first one where the case was next to the phone. So it's consistent that it has good range. It has poor strength, as many of them do. I've only had 2 that have so far passed all 4 phases. One of them was the One Audio Fusion A70, which is actually, at this point, it was used by my son for like a year or 2 or something. I don't really remember how long, and it was damaged. One side kind of snapped so that it wouldn't stick against his ear, so I had to rig something so it would stay against his ear. And even still, it passed the signal range and strength tests with, obviously no case because it's a full-size over the ear entirely headset. The other one is the Towpoint V03 wireless sports headband headphones, which I just reviewed today. So that's it. If you have... Oh, and I almost forgot to tell you this. 2 little points. Number 1, you can pair this headset to 2 different devices at the same time. And you can... there is an app that you can download to use with this headset. I don't recommend it because, I don't know if you can trust it or not. Even if it's on Google Play or the Apple Store or whatever, you don't know. Every month they're pulling stuff off that turns out to have been malware. And then the last thing is, if you're a gamer, the latency on this headset is 80 milliseconds. So that's not bad, I think. Is it bad? Gosh, I can't remember. Anyways, that is it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks very much for watching, and have a great day. Hello, headset fans. I'm the PC Expert Amateur, and we're going to take a look at the Towpoint wireless sports headphones. There's the packaging. And it does come with a charging cable, of course. And on top of that, did you get the joke on top of that? This is the headset. The earphones are here, and you can move them within the cloth so that they are matching the position of your ears, so you get the best sound quality. The only thing that's a little bit difficult is to figure out exactly how it's best to do it so that the holes match up with your holes. So to turn it on, you come up here and you push the middle button, and you will hear power on. Connected, it will be indicated if you actually have connected to your device already. If you've never paired with your device, or if your Bluetooth is off, you'll have to turn on the Bluetooth and pair. But once the Bluetooth is turned on, it may automatically, I think it should automatically. Now, one of the weird things about this is that it says it's for, it didn't say it's for Windows. It says it's for Mac and iOS. Now, I did try using it with my computer, but my Windows computer has some kind of a problem with the Bluetooth where it's not good quality. I mean, like really problematic, and my son's is the same way. So I'm not actually certain if it works well with Windows or with Android or Linux or something like that. Or is it Linux? I always forget. Doesn't matter. It's okay. And so this is a headbone. This is a headphone. This is a headband with headphones in it. They are removable for washing. They recommend you hand wash it for a couple of minutes only. It's wireless, and the speakers are over the ear holes. Bluetooth 5.4. It's relatively soft, not very soft, and somewhat breathable. Although it does kind of make me feel warm, but I think if I scrunch it up a little, well, it doesn't want me to scrunch it up. Okay, and it is obviously foldable, collapsible, whatever, because it's cloth. But be careful not to damage the electronics inside, especially the wires. You don't want to accidentally pull a wire out. Now the controls are buttons on the forehead there, and there is a light that indicates what mode it's in. Let's see. There's a microphone. There's the USB A to C cable. The drivers are 30 millimeters, which is great. In theory, if they had good quality drivers and there was an easy way to make sure that the drivers weren't like moving around or whatever, that'd be really nice to have larger drivers because you get better sound quality. There are two modes, music and phone. They're suitable for exercise, except there's no IP rating. In other words, there's no protection from water or dust, which is obviously not a good thing. And as far as frequency response range, it's 20 to 20,000 hertz, 12 to 14 hours of playtime, although I did see somewhere in the listing where it said 15 hours of playtime. So, they're always inconsistent on Amazon with their vendors giving information that's the same from one spot to the other. It seems like every single day I see something that's wrong. Let's see. And then 5 volts and 150 milliamp hours of capacity, 2 hours of charge time, 15 meter signal range, which is 49 feet, and 24 ohms impedance, certified compliant with CE, FCC, UKCA, WEEE, ROHS, and Triman. I always forget to say Triman. China is the source. And for the first set of tests, which was for fidelity, I used Hi Hacker's Ultimate Headphone Test. And on the base test, which is from 200 to 10 hertz at full volume, the score, actually full volume at the end only, because at the end is my really low range is a little bit damaged from headphones when I was young and listening to music too loud and fell asleep. Don't do that. So it was, the range is 200 to 10, and I only was able to hear the tone from 200 to 15 hertz. And then the second test is treble, which is 8,000 to 20,000 hertz. I heard it from 8,000 to 14,900. Then it was gone until 16,000. And then very, very faintly, I could hear it again, and up to 18,000. And if I would have turned up the volume to 100%, I probably would have heard it all the way up to the top, but that's not part of that test. Then for the next two tests, I did, or the last two tests that for fidelity, that is, I did the driver bass quality at full volume, and I heard some inconsistent buzzing and clicking. It wasn't bad. It was, at least the clicks weren't bad. There weren't many of them. The buzzing, ironically, did not happen in this test. It happened in the bass test. So take that as you will. Then the last test was the driver balance test, and I can't do that one at full volume because once it starts to get high enough, it hurts so much if the volume is too high. And these do have a bit higher volume than what I'm used to with the other headsets I've tested. I was kind of surprised, honestly. And then let's see what else. The last test, driver balance, and that is where you hear the whole range from bottom to top and then back down again. And the entire time you should feel that or sense that with your ears. The sound is always in exactly the center. if there's any wavering to the left or the right or shifting or whatever, that's a bad sign that the drivers are not stable. So I did that, and there was wavering in the top quarter of the range. Then I did 3 directional sound tests. The first one was the Lion Studios high definition 3D test, which it passed. The second was the Dolby Presents Universe, and I am only using the obvious directional portions of these tests, not the entire thing. And so it passed the Dolby Presents Universe, and finally the THX Spatial. Hear the difference? It passed on that as well. Sorry, got to get a drink, I guess. So obviously it did great, which is ironic because directional sound is generally only important for certain professions and for gaming. And this is for sleeping and for exercising. So it is really kind of a mismatch. But hey, you could use this for gaming. The sound isn't bad. It's just, not perfect. And it's, there are some limitations to the range, but they're not serious. I mean, they're just minor differences or inconveniences. Now, for the final test, I checked the wireless signal range and strength. And I have 2 stages to this test. And the first stage is where I'm testing the signal range, and it's a line of sight test. So I take my phone, I put it here on my desk, and then I start to walk away and see how far I can get. And the other end of the apartment is 40 feet away approximately. So if I start hearing any distortion or cutting out or anything like that, then I will stop and I will move a bit closer, and I will move around to try and see if it'll cause a problem by me moving around. And I'll keep on moving closer until I get to the point where finally the sound is stable and there are no more problems. And that is usually no closer than 30 feet away. I've only had 1, 2, 3, 4 headsets that couldn't get all the way to 40 feet in the line of sight test. And that was only when I was carrying the case for them with me. And then the second test, for that test, it passed. No problem. It got all the way to, and, given that it's got 15-meter range, I should be able to walk outside, with my phone and put it down, and then I should be able to walk at least 15 meters away or 49 feet away, and it's fine. But I like the minor challenge of it being within a home, because a lot of you are going to be doing it within the home. But you may also just have it in your pocket as you're running around. Now, the second test is the strength test. And for this one, I put barriers in the way. Or rather, I used the barriers in my apartment to interfere with the signal going from the phone to the headset. Now, the fourth, this one actually is the second out of the 18 that I have tested. Well, I'm sorry, not 18 for wireless headsets. 5, 6. Oh, okay. For the 11 that I have tested, this is only the second that's actually completed all 4 phases. Now, I did hear a very brief loss of signal in the third stage, but I could not reproduce it. So since I couldn't reproduce it, I went to the 4th stage, and it passed that. And basically, it's just like the first stage is there. I go to my kitchen, and there are 2 walls, and there's a water heater and HV that's in the way, and then there's the fridge that's in the way, and so on and so forth. The HVAC may interfere a little bit. I don't know. And then I go to the second one. Well, the second stage is the bathroom, and that adds an additional wall. And the third stage is in my bedroom on the right-hand side, so that adds another wall plus the closet. And the last stage is more to the it's on the left-hand side, but it's behind a bunch of racks that I have that are full of complicated stuff, that has a lot of metal and some plastic. That is definitely going to cause a lot of interference. And so, yeah, it passed all tests. So as far as range is concerned, you can put your phone down and be 40 feet away or 50 feet away or whatever, or 15, 20 meters. I don't really know how far you can go for maximum, and you don't have to worry about it because the signal strength is great. So I think this is really, aside from the lack of water resistance, let alone waterproofing, which I can't comprehend why they wouldn't make something that you're going to be sweating into water, at least water resistant. You know, it's not like you don't actually need the higher IP ratings for something like this, because that's where they're like shooting jets of water at the device. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Need to ask for your help. I'm sorry. On December 11th, 2024, Amazon terminated me and used false accusations against me. And on December 17th, I had my left shoulder operated on. I'm getting a lot better. I can do some things with my hand and my arm, but it's still pretty limited. If you could please help me out by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and turning on notifications for my channels, that would really help. If you want to help me financially and you can afford to, you can go to my Glenn's Fast Reviews and you can do a super thanks as a donation there. If you want to donate on a monthly basis, you can become a member there. And or you can go to patreon.com/GLENNMII. So thank you for that. Also, I'd like to say thank you to bleepingcomputer.com for allowing me to post messages on their forum about my videos. Thank you so much. And don't forget to visit them. They offer a lot of wonderful resources for people who are using computers. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Need to ask for your help. I'm sorry. On December 11th, 2024, Amazon terminated me and used false accusations against me. And on December 17th, I had my left shoulder operated on. I'm getting a lot better. I can do some things with my hand and my arm, but it's still pretty limited. If you could please help me out by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and turning on notifications for my channels, that would really help. If you want to help me financially and you can afford to, you can go to my Glenn's Fast Reviews and you can do a super thanks as a donation there. If you want to donate on a monthly basis, you can become a member there. And or you can go to patreon.com/GLENNMII. So thank you for that. Also, I'd like to say thank you to bleepingcomputer.com for allowing me to post messages on their forum about my videos. Thank you so much. And don't forget to visit them. They offer a lot of wonderful resources for people who are using computers. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Need to ask for your help. I'm sorry. On December 11th, 2024, Amazon terminated me and used false accusations against me. And on December 17th, I had my left shoulder operated on. I'm getting a lot better. I can do some things with my hand and my arm, but it's still pretty limited. If you could please help me out by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and turning on notifications for my channels, that would really help. If you want to help me financially and you can afford to, you can go to my Glenn's Fast Reviews and you can do a super thanks as a donation there. If you want to donate on a monthly basis, you can become a member there. And or you can go to patreon.com/GLENNMII. So thank you for that. Also, I'd like to say thank you to bleepingcomputer.com for allowing me to post messages on their forum about my videos. Thank you so much. And don't forget to visit them. They offer a lot of wonderful resources for people who are using computers. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.